Hi, it's Dwyer, gamblersadvisory.com, dwyervip.com. Remember, the opinion you should follow should be your own. Just consider this video to be a second opinion from a complete stranger online. Now, one strategy in betting boxing is to figure out who the protected fighters are. Which guys have padded records, right? Who hasn't been fighting guys on winning streaks? Well, in my opinion, one of those guys is Darryl Cunningham. He's fighting Cuba Arias, a fighter I like, a fighter I think's underrated. We'll talk about Arias a little bit later. But Cunningham has a great record, somehow is fighting for the vacant USBA middleweight title. But yet, if you look at his record, you'll notice that when he stepped up, he's been dropped early, right? Andre Darrell took 2 rounds to finish Cunningham, who was truly finished at the end of that fight. Andy Lee took 1 round to finish Darryl Cunningham. Darryl Cunningham's on a winning streak. What I want people to do is to look closely at his last 3 fights. Each of those opponents lost their prior 2 fights going into their fight against Darryl Cunningham. One of Cunningham's claims to fame is beating Antoine Eccles. Understand, Antoine Eccles at that point in his career had lost something like 4 of 5 or 5 of his prior 6 fights before he fought Darryl Cunningham. Now, Cunningham is a hard-hitting southpaw, hard-hitting, right? I'm sure on the way up that surprised a lot of guys. A lot of guys didn't quite see his power coming. But understand, he's not defensively blessed. He has the mindset of a hunter. If you don't buy the hype and you start hunting him, you're going to find that he's open for shots and his chin is not the best. I've posted in my favorites here on YouTube the ending of his fight against Andre Darrell. It's noteworthy because Cunningham's corner throws in the towel. Then when the referee goes over to the corner and says, hey, did you guys throw in the towel? Right? Patient ref in the fight. You know the rest. The corner, I guess someone in the corner said, what you doing? The corner said, no, we didn't throw in the towel. Right? We didn't throw in the towel. The fight continues and you realize that Cunningham can't even stand upright. Right, folks? That's in the second round. Second round. When his chin goes, it's gone. Well, now he's 41 years old. I'm expecting him to get stopped here in this fight. The play I like is Cuba Arias to win the fight by stoppage. But let's play it safe. Let's hedge this just a little bit. Cuba Arias by stoppage with some sprinkled on Arias simply to win the fight. I'll be surprised if this fight makes it to the 9th round. Let's talk about Cuba Arias. You know, another way of betting fighters is to keep track of the guys in their corner. Right? Superstar trainers have a lot of demands on their time. Lord knows managers would love to have their fighter trained by one of the best in the sport. So these superstar trainers have fighters coming to them. Right? They get to pick and choose. In this YouTube era, they get to pull up guys on YouTube and see if the guy has enough of whatever they're looking for to be worth their time. Now, Cuba Arias used to train out of the Mayweather gym in Las Vegas. Now, you know boxing is a political sport. You know these relationships come and go, right? He had a falling out with the Mayweather gym. Who knows why, right? So, here's where gamblers come in. Here's where people like you and me from the cheap seats see how he lands on his feet. right? Who does he align himself with next? What other groups, looking at this guy, feel that he's worth their time? What if I told you that the trainer of Unbeaten, Sergey Kovalev, right, a former fighter himself, a former champion, John David Jackson, stepped in and now is training Luis Cuba Arias. Now it's interesting because Arias doesn't have great punching power, right? He doesn't have great hand speed. What he has is the ability to fight, right? Think Bernard Hopkins. This is a guy who keeps it tight, who can bend at the waist, who doesn't leave himself open too often for counters, who likes to get inside, who likes to work the body. This is a name you need to keep track of. He's 15-0, right? In the middleweight division. In my opinion, this is the kind of style that would give, let's say, Billy Joe Saunders, let's say, dare I say, Golovkin, something to think about, right? I'm not saying Luis Cuba Arias, who's still a 26-year-old on the way up, shows up and gets awarded the belts. What I'm saying, though, is he has the kind of style to bother people inside. He's slick. He's clever. Right? A smart guy who knows how to box, who doesn't leave himself open for counters, who understands he needs to bank body shots early to slow down an opponent, who knows how to back away when the kitchen gets too hot so he doesn't get burned. That guy can do some things in the sport, especially when he has a trainer like John David Jackson. Right? So, this is one of those guys who I believe are nearing public consciousness. Right? Lord knows he's been in the ring sparring with some of the best. Right? Keep in mind, when you say that the guy spent time at the Mayweather gym, you know he's sparring with top-notch guys. Right? When you get with these superstar trainers, whether it's Freddie Roach, whether it's John David Jackson, Nacho Beristain, Robert Garcia, right? Whoever the superstar trainer is, these trainers tend to have gyms, right? Virgil Hunter, they tend to have gyms with a lot of guys in the gym. And you end up training with other superstar prospects. I think Cuba Arias is worth your attention. I'm expecting him to pick up the USBA middleweight crown this weekend. The fight's in Milwaukee, where Cuba Arias is from. He even has the home ring advantage. Right? He can fight inside. The guy has skills, folks. I'm expecting him to be the next USBA middleweight champion. That's how I see it. Let me hear from you. Leave your comments for me here online. Visit us at gamblersadvisory.com. Thanks for stopping by.